Andrea Bendewald, it is so nice to talk to you today. I had a fantastic time circling with you over the last couple of months, and I'm really excited to talk to you today for She Can. Tell us a little about yourself and what you do, Dre.
Oh, it's my favorite thing to do is to share my story. So let's see. I was born and raised in New York City, New York. I studied acting as a young person, went on to study it in high school, in college. So really acting was my trade. And I grew up with, in a really exciting time in the 70s, 80s, and 90s in New York City. And then I found myself out here in Los Angeles, where I live now with my husband and two kids. And so I spent half my life on the East Coast of the United States and half my life on the West Coast. And so here I am now. I still do some acting, but primarily I lead women's self-empowerment circles.
Dre, and those circles are life-changing and magical. Tell us a little bit more about that and also how you got to where you are today. What brought you to circling? What is that journey that you went through?
Yes. So when I moved out to Los Angeles, I landed amongst a group of women. I had a couple of friends that were already living out here in LA, and they were living up in Laurel Canyon, which is a magical, well-known hotspot for creative people through the 60s, 70s, and beyond. So this was the 90s, and we were living up in Laurel Canyon, and this group of women had just started investigating this thing called circling and gathering women with the intention of really authentically sharing and supporting who they were, where they were at, and connecting to themselves and connecting to one another without the outside world telling them what to do. This is my interpretation, my memory of it. I was 24 at the time. I sat in my first circle. We used a talking piece. The talking piece came around. My heart was pounding. I was nervous. I didn't know what I was going to say. You know, all this stuff came up, and I ended up sharing the truth, where I was at the time, how I was feeling, how insecure I was, how scared I was being a young wannabe actress in Los Angeles, not knowing enough of what the landscape was about. And the talking piece passed on to the next woman. And I felt simply transformed by that one moment of authentically sharing the truth of who I was. Now, it was a different type of share because I wasn't sharing with agenda. I wasn't trying to get someone to like me or get, someone to choose me or get someone to include me. It was a sense of belonging to myself that I had never experienced before. And I fell in love with that voice that came through me, which I had never heard before. So the talking stick passed. I was okay. I didn't die, even though it felt so like threatening at the time. And as the talking piece went around the circle, and this was an incredible group of women. I mean, you name it. Producers, writers, actors, directors, musicians, mothers, grandmothers, younger women. I mean, you name it, all different types of women. And the talking piece went around, and I heard myself in each and every woman. And I have chills right now reliving it. And it was an education for me, where I learned that we are more connected. We are more similar in ways than we are separate. And it was in that circle that I experienced belonging in a world where, especially women, men too, I don't know, but I'll speak for women. I'll speak for myself, was in a desperate search to belong. to belong to a group, to belong to a career, to belong to even the family that I was born into wasn't enough. I wanted to belong to something bigger. And I found it in this first circle. So, cut to that was age 24, I'm 51. I've been circling ever since. And about, I'd say 15 years ago, I had a moment where I was in deep pursuit of a acting career, and I had a pretty good one. I had traction. I was on TV, I was getting jobs, but I wasn't succeeding in the way that I thought I should be succeeding. So I had some thought in my head like, well, if you're going to be successful, it's got to be here. And when that wasn't happening, I was just gutted. I was depleted. I was unhappy. I was, I was just wrecked. But here I was over here doing this thing called circling, where I was fulfilled, turned on, aligned, thriving, of service, changing my own life. So I had a fork in the road moment where I leaned into leading circles. And that brings us to present day and how you and I came to know each other. I just kept leading circles. And the more I led them, women would ask me to keep leading them. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just do more of this. So I've been leading circles ever since. But over the past 2 years, with a global pandemic, the idea came to me to reach out and see if women wanted to gather via Zoom. And they did. So I started offering virtual female empowerment circles. And now I get to connect with, and it's grown wonderfully to connect with women from around the world, which is how you and I met. So that's what I do currently, primarily, is I lead women's circles virtually.
Dre, I have goosebumps and I have tears in my eyes because the story is powerful, and I know because I have been to, several months of circling, how unbelievably powerful it is and how beautiful this oneness that you described earlier, this is felt by everyone. Dre, tell me what your motivation is going forwards with the circling.
Forward with circling is very selfish. It's to continue healing. I am dedicated to my own healing, and the primary place that I have done the most healing is in women's circles. So, of course, I love the fact that other women are benefiting from the same process. It's why I'm so in love with the art of circling, because it's mutually beneficial. And whereas I facilitate them, which I love bringing my self-study of women's studies and practices and spiritual practices and shamanism, which you and I love to talk about, and all of it, all of the mysteries. I love bringing all of it into the circle. And then I get to experience the beauty, the magic, the power of the circle, which is the participation of all the women that come to the circles. So it's this, like eternity, infinity flow of I give and I receive, I pour in and I take out. So that's what motivates me, is my own healing, because I would be not telling the truth if I said, oh, I want to help heal all the women of the world. That is beneficial to all of us. And I get to heal along with everyone else. And I feel like the more I heal, the more you heal. The more you heal, the more I heal. The more we serve women, the more the planet heals. So that's my motivation moving forward.
I mean, that is spot on. And I think that's what is so beautiful in the circles. And that's the magic that we know each time we heal and we move forward, we are doing a service to the, collective and the world as a whole. Dre, tell me
Mm.
what you think is your superpower. What is your superpower, do you think, in all of this?
My superpower is observation and listening. I have the ability to take myself out of the equation and really listen to other women and their stories, and men too, but we're talking about my work, so I primarily work with women. If I can really hold space and really listen, I can weave together the strands of the collective. And I grew up where, I'm a child of divorce. I had some childhood trauma outside of the divorce that put me into what many women experience, which is a survival mechanism. And a lot of surviving is to become a keen observer in how to get yourself out of a situation. So I've turned that wound into my superpower. I've learned how to make that the thing that, is it Rumi that says the cure for the pain is the pain? So the pain of childhood made me a keen observer. A really good like detective of human nature. And so I use that in the circle practice of being able to listen and read the field of what is coming through, not just for me, but for all women. And we talk about this a lot in circles. Like the more we drop into that superpower that I think we all have, of listening, the wiser we become. It's when we give ourselves a chance to kind of slow down and listen, and not be the ones who have to fix it all and change it all and tend to everything. But when we slow down and we really listen, we become better or more acute at using our superpowers. And that superpower is also listening to my own intuition, which we also hone in circles. Yeah, so that's
Thank
it.
you.
Listening. Yeah,
Thank
I went a long way around, but I think I got to it.
you got to it beautifully. Thank you for sharing. Dre, tell me what top tips you would have for other women.
Topics? Is
Top
that what you said?
tips. Top
Oh,
tips.
top tips. Oh, I'm working on this one because it's going to be the circle that I'm leading coming up. Top tips, and I'm learning this myself, is understanding and really learning about self-care as a woman. Not trendy, tips that are out there, but like really truly learning what your self-care practice is. And that means putting yourself number one at the top of your list. Are my needs met by me? Am I taking care of myself the way I take care of other people? The way I would take care of a child? Am I taking care of myself that way? Am I eating well? Am I sleeping well? Am I bathed well? Am I dressing well? Am I giving myself good self-talk? Literally the way you would talk to a child. You're doing so good. I'm so proud of you. Let's get you ready for the day. I'm still learning how to do that. I'm still learning how to prioritize myself. My latest is that I've broken up with my codependent self, the part of me that wants to take care of everybody else's needs first. I have broken up with that part of myself. And before I lend myself to somebody else, I stop, I pause, I back up, and I go, wait a second. Have you checked all the boxes off your list first? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, now I can offer myself to somebody else. Now I can say, oh, let me help you with that. Now I can say, let me volunteer for that. Or now I can say, let me be the one who like rescues a friend. Have I rescued myself first? I think that's the one thing I want to encourage women to do, is self-care, and then also support one another's self-care. You know, if you came to me saying you were burnt out, I'd be like, all right, I hear you. So what can you do? Not what can I do? What can you do? I want to support you. What can you do to kind of realign with self-care? I'll be your support buddy on that.
Beautiful, Dre, beautiful. What an amazing tip. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Dre, what are your plans and your dreams for the future?
My plans and my dreams for the future are to continue growing and sharing the art of circling, teaching it to other women, growing materials that other women can bring into their own circle practices, leading retreats, and continuing to live a life that I enjoy living every day. So I wake up every day not going, oh, what should I do? What am I supposed to do? But waking up every day going, oh, I'm so excited. I get to do this today. I get to lead a circle. I get to talk to Stephanie and she can. And I get to, you know, get creative in all my affairs with parenting, with my relationships. I want to continue cultivating that for myself because it hasn't always been that way. I had to learn. I'm still learning always, but I had to learn and understand the fact that I am co-creating this life with the universe, creator, God, that I am not a victim in my own life, which for a while I felt that way. I felt like a victim to the thoughts in my head, the circumstances that were given to me. And I want to continue cultivating a life of like true ownership and abundance and appreciation and gratitude, and also sharing that with as many women as possible.
Dre, I am so excited for the future of the art of circling. I am super excited to be a tiny part of it and really, really wish you all the best. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Yes, and thank you for having me and including me in She Can. And I look forward to our collaborations that we have yet to do together as well. Thank you,
Yes,
Stephanie.
yes, we do. Bye.
Okay.